In a world that feels like it's constantly throwing us off balance, where every challenge seems bigger than the last, what if we could face these tough times with unshakable calm? What if we could not only survive, but thrive through adversity? What if the secret to navigating this storm lies not in fighting the world, but in mastering how we respond to it? Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, offers timeless wisdom for exactly these moments. Rooted in self-control, resilience, and understanding, Stoicism teaches us how to endure, adapt, and find peace in the midst of chaos. Imagine approaching every hardship not as something to fear, but as an opportunity to strengthen your character and mind. Today, we'll explore how Stoic principles can transform your mindset, helping you become the best version of yourself, no matter the storm you're facing. So, are you ready to build unshakable strength in the face of life's toughest challenges? Let's begin. Understanding Stoicism. Origins of Stoicism. Stoicism, a school of philosophy founded by Zeno of Citium in the early 3rd century BCE, has endured for centuries, offering timeless wisdom for resilience and inner peace. Zeno, initially influenced by Cynicism, developed Stoicism in Athens, teaching that virtue is the highest good and that individuals should live in harmony with nature. Stoicism flourished through the contributions of later thinkers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, each shaping its principles and expanding its practical application. History of Stoicism. Zeno of Citium, c. 334 to 262 BCE, the founder of Stoicism, Zeno taught that the only true good is virtue, and that external circumstances, such as wealth or status, were indifferent. He emphasized the importance of self-control and living a life guided by reason. Epictetus, c. 55 to 135 CE, a former slave-turned-philosopher, Epictetus emphasized personal freedom through mastery over one's own mind. His teachings focused on the dichotomy of control and how to endure hardship without being disturbed by it. Seneca, 4 BCE 65 CE, a Roman statesman and philosopher, Seneca wrote extensively on practical Stoicism, emphasizing the importance of overcoming passion and making rational decisions in the face of adversity. Marcus Aurelius, 121 to 180 CE, the Roman emperor, who is perhaps the most well-known Stoic, practiced Stoicism not just as a philosophy, but as a guiding principle in ruling and daily life. His Meditations are a personal reflection on the role of virtue and reason in overcoming life's difficulties. Stoicism's focus on virtue, reason, and self-control. At its core, Stoicism is about cultivating virtue, defined as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. The Stoics believe that living according to reason and controlling one's emotions is the path to true happiness. It's not external circumstances that dictate peace of mind, but how one responds to those circumstances with wisdom and self-control. Key Stoic concepts. The dichotomy of control. One of the foundational concepts in Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, the idea that some things are within our control and others are not. Stoics encourage focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses, while accepting that we cannot control events, other people, or outcomes. By understanding this distinction, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and frustration. Virtue and moral character. For Stoics, virtue is the only true good. External factors like wealth, health, and fame are not inherently good or bad, they are merely indifference. Stoics believe that living a virtuous life, cultivating moral character, and acting with integrity lead to inner peace, regardless of external circumstances. Living in accordance with nature. Stoicism teaches that we should live in harmony with nature, both the natural world and human nature. This means accepting the natural order of the world and aligning our actions with rationality. The Stoic view is that nature is rational, and by understanding it, we can understand how best to live. The role of emotions. While Stoicism is often misunderstood as advocating for emotional suppression, it actually encourages understanding and mastering one's emotions. Stoics recognize emotions like anger, fear, and grief as natural, but they also believe that our reactions to these emotions are within our control. Rather than letting emotions rule us, we can choose rational responses that align with virtue. Amor fati, loving one's fate. This Stoic concept encourages embracing everything that happens in life, including hardships, as part of a larger, natural process. Amor fati means loving your fate, accepting that what happens is neither good nor bad, but simply part of the flow of life. Stoics believe that by accepting and loving everything that comes our way, we can find peace and even joy in difficult circumstances. Premeditatio malorum, meditation on misfortune. Stoics practice premeditatio malorum, thinking in advance about possible misfortunes. This helps to prepare emotionally for challenges and minimizes their impact when they occur. By reflecting on possible difficulties ahead of time, one can respond with equanimity, knowing that life will present obstacles, but we are equipped to handle them. Core Stoic principles for resilience. The dichotomy of control. Understanding the difference between what we can control and what we cannot is a core Stoic principle. When faced with adversity, the Stoics teach that we should focus on controlling our reactions, attitudes, and actions rather than stressing over uncontrollable external events. For example, while you can't control the weather or the actions of others, you can control how you respond to these challenges with patience and resilience. Focusing on virtue over circumstance. Stoics believe that true happiness doesn't come from external circumstances, but from cultivating virtue. Regardless of your environment. Circumstances, or what happens to you, you can control your thoughts, actions, and moral choices. By focusing on virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, you'll cultivate inner peace that is unaffected by external changes. This principle encourages a shift away from seeking happiness in things like possessions or status and instead finding contentment in personal growth and moral character. Emotional resilience through Stoicism. Rational responses to emotions. Stoicism teaches that emotions, especially negative ones like fear, anger, and anxiety, often arise from faulty judgments or misguided beliefs. Rather than avoiding or suppressing these emotions, Stoics encourage us to confront them by changing our perception. For instance, fear might arise from anticipating future events that we cannot control. Instead of letting this fear paralyze us, Stoicism asks us to challenge our assumptions and remind ourselves that we can only control our responses, not the outcome. By shifting our mindset, we can reduce the power these emotions have over us. Similarly, anger is often the result of perceiving an injustice or a violation of our expectations. The Stoic approach involves recognizing that people and events do not have the power to disturb us unless we allow them to. By viewing anger as a response to our own judgment, we can choose to let it go and instead focus on what we can control, our own reactions. Anxiety, too, stems from worrying about things outside our control. Stoics teach us to recognize that the only certainty is the present moment and that worrying about an uncertain future is a waste of energy. The role of rational thought. At the heart of Stoicism lies the belief that our thoughts shape our emotional responses. By adjusting our thinking, we can reshape our emotional reactions. Stoics often engage in the practice of reframing events, looking at them through a different lens. For example, instead of viewing a failure as a sign of inadequacy, we can see it as an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. Reframing our perception of adversity in this way reduces its emotional grip and allows us to approach the situation with a calm, rational mindset. The key to Stoic emotional resilience is not the elimination of emotions but the development of the ability to respond rationally to them. In the face of a difficult situation, a Stoic would ask, "What is within my control here?" By focusing on what we can influence, our thoughts and actions, we free ourselves from the emotional chaos that often arises from external events. Building mental toughness. Stoicism equips us with mental tools to build emotional endurance, particularly in stressful or high-pressure situations. Mental toughness, in this context, is not about ignoring emotions but about acknowledging them without allowing them to dictate our actions. Stoic mental exercises like premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of misfortune, help us prepare for adversity before it arises. By imagining the worst-case scenario, we desensitize ourselves to fear and anxiety, making it easier to handle challenges when they inevitably appear. Another practice that fosters mental toughness is negative visualization, where we take time to reflect on the impermanence of life and the possibility of loss. This helps us appreciate what we have while developing the emotional resilience to face loss without overwhelming despair. Stoicism reminds us that while emotions are natural, they should not control our behavior. Instead, we can learn to respond to them with wisdom, patience, and a commitment to virtue. Case studies and examples. Stoicism's teachings on emotional control are not abstract concepts, they have been applied throughout history by influential figures facing tremendous personal challenges. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, faced enormous pressures from leading an empire at war while dealing with personal loss, sickness, and political turmoil. In his personal writings, Meditations, he reminds himself repeatedly to stay focused on what is in his control, displaying extraordinary emotional resilience. Epictetus, who was born a slave, was subjected to hardship throughout his life. Yet, his teachings emphasize that no external event could harm the inner self unless we allow it. Epictetus exemplified how to maintain inner peace through rational thought and understanding of one's own responses. Seneca, despite being a prominent figure in the Roman court and living in turbulent times, maintained his Stoic discipline in both public and personal life. He wrote extensively on how to deal with anger, fear, and grief, offering practical advice on how to maintain composure and virtue in the face of adversity. Applying Stoicism during crisis. Practical application in times of stress. Stoicism offers practical tools to deal with life's most trying circumstances, from financial struggles to personal loss or health crises. When facing financial difficulties, Stoicism encourages focusing on our inner wealth, virtue, wisdom, and resilience, rather than external factors like money or possessions. Stoics remind us that material things are indifferent, and our true well-being depends on how we react to the situation. In personal loss, Stoicism emphasizes acceptance and understanding that death and separation are part of the natural order. Rather than sinking into despair, we can honor the memory of loved ones and cherish the time we had together, while embracing the opportunity to grow stronger from the experience. Stoicism and leadership in times of crisis. In times of crisis, leadership requires emotional composure, rational decision-making, and the ability to inspire others to maintain focus and perseverance. Stoic principles are invaluable for leaders facing pressure. By focusing on what is within their control and acting with virtue, leaders can make decisions based on reason, not panic or emotion. Additionally, leaders can model resilience and composure for their teams, helping others navigate difficult times. For instance, during wartime or periods of intense hardship, Stoic leaders like Marcus Aurelius exemplified how maintaining emotional control, sticking to rational principles, and focusing on the greater good of the community can guide both personal and collective success. Real-life Stoic practices for difficult times. Throughout history, Stoics have applied their philosophy in times of great crisis. Marcus Aurelius, as a ruler during the Marcomannic Wars and a plague, used Stoic practices to guide his leadership. His writings reveal how he reflected on his duty to the Roman Empire while managing personal grief and illness. Despite the challenges, he maintained a sense of inner peace and purpose, modeling Stoic virtues in action. Seneca, during his time in political exile, used Stoicism to navigate the trials of losing his wealth and influence. He wrote letters and essays to fellow Stoics, encouraging them to remain steady in the face of hardship and to focus on what could be controlled, one's own reactions and responses. Cultivating inner peace through Stoicism. The importance of perspective. For Stoics, perspective is everything. By reframing our view of hardship, we can transform suffering into an opportunity for growth. Difficult situations, while painful, provide fertile ground for practicing virtues like patience, resilience, and wisdom. By changing our perspective, we can see adversity not as something to dread, but as a chance to improve and become stronger. The art of letting go. One of the central teachings of Stoicism is detachment from external outcomes. By letting go of our attachment to material wealth, status, and even relationships, we free ourselves from the emotional turmoil that comes with their loss. Stoics teach us to focus on internal virtues, which are within our control and cannot be taken away. Mindfulness and meditation in Stoic thought. Stoicism incorporates elements of mindfulness, particularly through practices like daily reflection and meditation. These practices help us detach from negative emotions and focus on the present moment. Through mindfulness, we develop a heightened awareness of our thoughts, emotions, and reactions, allowing us to make deliberate, rational choices that align with Stoic principles. Living with purpose and focus. A clear sense of purpose is crucial for navigating life's challenges. Stoicism teaches that by aligning our actions with virtue and focusing on what truly matters, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace, even in the most difficult circumstances. Having a strong sense of purpose helps us stay grounded and focused on the present, rather than being overwhelmed by external events. By cultivating inner peace through these Stoic practices, we can face life's challenges with resilience, clarity, and a sense of calm purpose. Practical exercises. Daily reflections, morning and evening journaling. Start and end each day with reflective journaling. In the morning, write about your intentions, focusing on how you want to respond to challenges and practice virtue. In the evening, reflect on your actions, what did you do well, and where can you improve? This practice fosters self-awareness and helps you align your actions with Stoic principles. Practicing mindfulness in tough situations. When facing adversity, take a moment to pause and observe your emotional reaction. Rather than reacting impulsively, use mindfulness to acknowledge your feelings and choose a thoughtful, rational response. This technique helps you stay grounded and avoid being overwhelmed by emotions. Self-inquiry, questioning one's automatic responses to adversity. When difficulties arise, take a step back and ask yourself, is this within my control? How can I respond virtuously in this moment? Self-inquiry allows you to break free from automatic reactions, empowering you to make choices that align with Stoic teachings. Handling personal loss and grief. Stoicism and grief. Stoicism offers a profound approach to dealing with personal loss and grief, emphasizing rational acceptance and the understanding that loss is an inherent part of life. Rather than seeking to avoid or deny grief, Stoicism teaches us to embrace it as a natural and inevitable consequence of our existence. According to Stoic philosophy, everything in life is transient: people, experiences, and even emotions. When we lose someone or something dear to us, we are not being treated unjustly, rather, we are experiencing the impermanence of life, which Stoics see as a fundamental aspect of the natural order. By adopting a Stoic approach, we can avoid becoming overwhelmed by our emotions. Stoicism encourages us to reflect on the time we had with our loved ones, focusing on gratitude for the experiences rather than dwelling on the pain of their absence. By accepting that grief is part of our human condition, we begin to approach it with a sense of peace, knowing that we cannot control the fact of loss, but we can control how we respond to it. Confronting mortality, memento mori. One of the most powerful Stoic practices related to personal loss and grief is memento mori, the contemplation of mortality. Stoics regularly meditate on the certainty of death, not to dwell on negativity but to bring clarity and appreciation to life. By confronting death directly, Stoicism helps us understand that life is fleeting, which in turn makes us more grateful for the present moment and less fearful of death. This practice allows us to live with more intentionality and urgency, encouraging us to focus on what truly matters: our actions, relationships, and growth. Practical techniques for coping with loss. There are several Stoic practices that can help mitigate the emotional suffering that accompanies loss. Journaling, writing regularly can help process emotions and gain perspective on grief. Morning and evening reflections, examining your thoughts and feelings, allow you to confront your grief rationally. Journaling can help you maintain an inner dialogue, which can be healing and offer clarity. Visualization. Stoics practice negative visualization, imagining the potential losses that might occur in the future. This technique helps us mentally prepare for the inevitable, so that when it happens, we are less emotionally destabilized. Premeditatio malorum. As part of negative visualization, the Stoic exercise of premeditatio malorum involves imagining the worst-case scenario. By contemplating the loss of loved ones ahead of time, we mentally prepare ourselves and reduce the impact when that loss occurs. Stoicism and societal hardships. Dealing with societal pressures and uncertainty. Stoicism is particularly powerful in helping individuals navigate the pressures of living in an uncertain, unjust society. While external events, such as political instability, economic hardship, and social injustice, are beyond our control, Stoicism teaches us how to maintain peace of mind by focusing on our own responses. Stoics believe that by practicing virtue, reason, and self-control, we can create a sense of inner stability, regardless of the chaos around us. In times of societal upheaval, Stoicism encourages us to maintain a clear sense of what is in our control, our own thoughts, values, and actions. Rather than being consumed by fear or anger, we are reminded to act according to our principles, knowing that our character is what defines us, not the external conditions we cannot change. Stoic perspectives on politics, injustice, and the common good. While Stoicism does not encourage passivity, it does promote a mindful approach to societal engagement. Stoics believe in participating in politics and contributing to the common good, but always with a sense of detachment from the outcomes. They advocate for justice, fairness, and rationality, but understand that they cannot control the actions of others or the eventual outcome. Stoicism teaches us to confront injustice without becoming overwhelmed by it, always striving to make decisions based on wisdom, rather than emotions or external rewards. For example, if we see injustice in society, we can work toward change in accordance with our Stoic values, without becoming consumed by rage or frustration. We must act in accordance with virtue, but remain indifferent to external rewards or recognition. Building resilience in communities. Stoic values of virtue, reason, and collective responsibility can strengthen communities by encouraging individuals to focus on what truly matters, the well-being of others and the common good. In times of crisis, the Stoic focus on shared responsibility and virtue can foster solidarity, helping communities to face challenges together with wisdom, patience, and mutual support. By embracing Stoic principles, communities can cultivate resilience, drawing on collective strength and a shared sense of purpose. In the face of social hardships, these values can help people remain grounded, focused, and united, enabling them to endure adversity without being consumed by division or despair. Developing Stoic practices for everyday life. Daily Stoic routines. Creating a Stoic daily routine is an excellent way to cultivate resilience and apply Stoic principles in everyday life. The Stoic approach encourages setting intentions for the day in the morning and reflecting on one's actions and emotions in the evening. Morning reflections. Begin each day by reflecting on what challenges or difficulties you might face and how you can respond to them with wisdom and virtue. Setting intentions in the morning helps you approach the day with purpose and mindfulness, preparing your mind to meet any adversity with calm and clarity. Evening reflections. At the end of the day, reflect on your actions and the emotions you experienced. Did you live in accordance with your values? Did you respond to challenges with virtue? Evening reflection allows you to learn from your experiences, growing in wisdom each day. Focused breathing and meditation. Stoics often use breathing exercises and meditation to cultivate a state of calm and mental clarity. By focusing on the breath and quieting the mind, you can create space for rational thought, especially during stressful or emotionally charged situations. Stoic practices for building a resilient mindset. Stoicism is not just a philosophy for difficult times, it's a lifestyle that requires consistent practice. Building a resilient mindset involves daily habits that reinforce Stoic principles. Mindfulness: pay attention to your thoughts, emotions, and reactions throughout the day. Mindfulness helps you respond intentionally to situations, rather than reacting impulsively. Journaling: daily journaling allows you to clarify your thoughts and track your progress in cultivating Stoic virtues. The dichotomy of control: practice distinguishing between what you can and cannot control in each situation. This simple yet powerful exercise helps you focus on what is within your power and let go of unnecessary stress about things you cannot change. Stoicism in the face of modern technology and social media. The impact of social media on mental health. In the digital age, social media has become a significant source of stress and anxiety. The constant barrage of information, comparisons, and unrealistic expectations can exacerbate feelings of inadequacy and unrest. Stoicism offers a counterbalance to the overconsumption of information and the need for external validation. By focusing on what is in our control, our responses and internal values, we can reduce the emotional impact of social media. Digital detox and Stoic practice. Incorporating Stoicism into our relationship with technology involves periodic digital detoxes, intentional breaks from social media and digital devices. This helps reduce distractions and refocus on the things that truly matter: our relationships, personal growth, and inner peace. Maintaining focus in a distracted world. Stoics understand the importance of focusing on long-term goals and personal development. In today's world of constant distractions, Stoicism teaches us to remain disciplined and focused on what truly contributes to our well-being, rather than getting caught up in the constant noise of digital life. Long-term Stoic wisdom for building a resilient life. The power of consistency and patience. Stoicism teaches that building resilience is a gradual, incremental process. It's not about achieving perfection, but about consistently applying Stoic principles every day. The journey to wisdom and emotional resilience is a long one, but with patience and commitment, small, daily actions can lead to profound changes over time. Embracing challenges as opportunities. The Stoic approach reframes challenges as opportunities for growth. Every obstacle, whether big or small, is an opportunity to practice virtue, build strength, and develop wisdom. This mindset transforms every hardship into a chance to improve oneself. Leaving a legacy of Stoic virtue. As we grow in wisdom and resilience, we have the opportunity to pass on the lessons of Stoicism to future generations. By living with virtue and sharing our Stoic practices with others, we create a lasting impact, fostering communities that embrace inner peace, resilience, and personal growth. Conclusion: living a Stoic life in tough times. Summary of core Stoic principles. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control external events, but we can control our responses. The core Stoic principles, virtue, rational thought, and self-control, empower us to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. The ongoing journey. The Stoic path is not one of perfection but of continuous growth. It is a lifelong commitment to improving our character, strengthening our resilience, and living with virtue. Final encouragement. By embracing Stoicism in the face of adversity, we can cultivate a deeper sense of peace, fulfillment, and purpose. The Stoic life is one of constant growth, where challenges are seen not as obstacles, but as opportunities to become the best version of ourselves.